Alright guys, let's go ahead and begin here. So we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday, but today's is probably a lot easier than yesterday's, because with yesterday we had to deal with the coordinates on the unit circle as they're given to us as fractions and roots. Kind of makes things hard. We're going to do the same thing today, but we're going to be doing it with just decimals on a calculator. So a lot of the calculation part's just going to be a lot easier, but it's the same idea. And then after that, we're going to take our tangent quiz. Might have a little bit of time to let you study before that too, just because, like I said, today's lesson's kind of short. All right, so yesterday we talked about the unit circle, right? And how the radius on the unit circle is 1. And for the coordinates here, x and y, for any point that's actually on the unit circle, that could be represented as the base of a right triangle and the height of a right triangle, with your angle being right there. Okay? So, and then what we discovered was that sine of theta was y, cosine of theta was x, tangent of theta was y over x, cosecant of theta was 1 over y, and secant was 1 over x, and cotangent was x over y. Okay? So we're going to be using those same little formulas again today. Now, you don't have to write those down again if you don't want to, because you already have them down, but if you want them on your notes a second time, you're welcome to do that. So, I'll pause just in case some of you guys do want. So, I want you guys to be prepared for 2 types of questions, but I think we can do them at once because they're kind of the same question really, but just 2 different ways. So we're going to do 2 things. First, we're going to find the coordinates on the unit circle for each angle, and then we're going to find all 6 trig ratios as well. So we're going to do 2 things. So I'm going to make up an angle here. It's going to be like a random weird angle, like not one of our special ones. So like, let's say 156. So I'm going to do part A first. Now part A, we want to find the coordinates. Now you don't have to draw the picture, but I'm going to do this just to help you guys out. 156 degree angles. Whoa, 150 degree angle would be like right about here, like that. Okay? So, we want to know what are the coordinates for that point. Like, if you were to look at this on the x and y axis, you know, how far over and up would that be? Okay, well, the good news is our calculators are going to do that for us. So, we know that the x is cosine of theta, and we know that the y is sine of theta. It's that simple. So on our cell phones or calculators, whatever you want to use, we're going to type in cosine of 150. Actually, instead of writing theta here, I think I'm going to write the actual angle. So cosine of 156 and sine of 156. Oh yeah, the axes. Thank you. You're right, x-axis, y-axis. I owe you a point. So we're going to say negative 0.913 for the x. And then for the y, we're going to say, and I'm just going to round to the thousandths place. So there you go. So that's the coordinates of that point. Weird, but there it is. All right, now for part B. It says find all 6 trig ratios. So we kind of already started, right? We already found sine. We found out that that was what? 0.407. We already found cosine. That was negative 0.913. Don't forget the negative. Mine's kind of tiny.
So you could do both at the same time? Cosine and sine?
I'm not sure I know what you mean by your question.
Weren't they like separate? So like sine, cosine, tangent?
Yeah, they're all different. And so, but if you do cosine, that tells you the x. If you do sine, that tells you the y. And you put them together, that makes a point. So I'm not like your coordinate on the circle. Now, tangent is our next easy one. By easy, I mean we just get to punch it in the calculator. So let's do that. Tangent of 156. So that's negative 0.445. All 3 of these, how did we do it? We did it on the calculator, right? Now for the other 3, you'll notice that we don't have those buttons on our calculator, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take these things here and we're going to use those to find the other ones. So let's start off with cosecant of 156. Bless you. Now, what did we write down earlier today and yesterday? What is cosecant equal to? It's 1 over y, right? So 1 over y. But what does y equal? It's sine. Now you don't have to show this much work every time if you don't want to. I'm just kind of teaching right now. So cosecant is 1 over y, and y is sine. So therefore, cosecant of 156 is just 1 divided by sine of 156. Okay? So on our calculators, that's what we're going to push. Now, if you're using your cell phone, that might be a little bit challenging. So if you're using a calculator, you type it in exactly as it looks. You push 1 divided by sine 156 equals, and you'll get your answer. So I'm going to write it 2, 4, 5, 9. Now, if you're doing it on your phones, I'll tell you guys how to do that now. So if you want to use your phones, you're welcome to. But here's what you're going to do. The reason why it's a little bit unbeneficial to use phones is because now you have to round in the middle of your problem, and you're going to use a rounded answer, and so your final answer will be less accurate. But it's not going to be a huge deal. We already found this, didn't we? Mm-hmm. So what you could do on your cell phones is you could just do 1 divided by 0.407. So go ahead and do that if you want to, and see if you guys are getting something close to what I get there. 1 divided by 0.407. Is it getting close there? Yeah. When I do it, I get a 7 in the third spot, and I have a 9. And so that's what rounding does. It kind of messes up your answers a little bit. And if there's any sophomores in here, juniors going into calculus next year in the AP class, they actually care about that level of accuracy. They always go to the third one. Just saying. All right. Let's see. Let's keep going here. So I did cosecant. So what do you guys think I'm going to write for secant then? Secant of 156 is going to be equal to what? 1 over x, which is the same thing as 1 over cosine. And once again, however you need to calculate it, go ahead. You can either take the rounded answer up top, or you can just use the calculator in your hand if you have a regular calculator. But I'm getting negative 1.095. And then our last one, cotangent of 156. There's a couple ways to do this one. Well, I'll see what you guys think. What am I going to write? Just shout out some ideas. Y over x? Close, because that's tangent. X over y, so we'll go with that. So cotangent is x over y, right? Which is going to be what over what? Yeah. Cosine of 156 over sine of 156. So I'll calculate that, but that's not the only way we could have done that one. I'll put some feelers out there for another answer. But negative 2.246. And once again, if you're going to be using cell phones, you probably have to take the rounded answer up top for cosine, the rounded up answer up top for sine, and just manually divide those, and you'll get close. Does anybody have another way that maybe we could have done cotangent in mind?
Can you do 1 divided by 10?
Yes, you can. So we could have also done this. It doesn't really matter, but you will get the same answer. You could do 1 divided by tangent, because it's the reciprocal of tangent, and you'll get the same answer. So there you guys go. So that's how we find our trig ratios. So let's review really quick before I throw some at you. To find the coordinates, you're just going to do cosine and sine, right? That tells you what the point is on the unit circle. Then you're going to find your 6 trig ratios. Now sine, cosine, and tangent, just calculator's your friend. Just use the calculator. But for cosecant, secant, and cotangent, you're going to want to do the reciprocals of the things that we already have to calculate those answers, because unfortunately our calculators don't have those buttons, so we got to be a little creative with it. All right, so let me give you guys one to mess around. We'll see how you guys do. We'll call this a student practice. Let's do a weird angle here. How about 333 degrees? So see if you guys can find the coordinates and the 6 trig ratios for that angle. So Gabriel, what did you get for sine? And if you guys didn't get any of this, so let me know. Yeah? Cosine? What do you think, Gabriel? Maybe they're saying that's cosine. Like that? Ever feeling better about that? Okay. Cool. Edward, what did you get for tangent, sir? 0.509. Okay. And Kalani, what did you get for your cosecant? Okay. Yeah. Is it negative? We agree that tangent is supposed to be negative, guys? Gabrielle, what did you get for secant? Okay. And how's about Melanie? What'd you get for cotangent? Okay, so there you guys go with those. And then for part A, your coordinates would be negative 0.893. Uh-huh.
I think she might have mixed those up because it's not the answer.
What did you get?
I got 1.122.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I got the same.
Okay. Did you get? So,
Positive or negative?
huh?
Positive or negative?
Positive. So we're saying that secant is 1.122. Okay. So
How do you get the coordinates?
so the coordinates are. Oops.
The value of cosine and sine?
Yeah, that's it.
Cosine is x?
That's correct. Is it? Sorry, I need more space. So we have 0.893 for x, right? And then for y, it's negative 0.454, right? And there's your coordinates for A. All right. Just for the heck of it, because we have a little bit of time today, and it might come in handy later on. What about radians? What about radians? So I'm going to make up some weird random radian that's not on your unit circle. Because if I asked you for one that's on your unit circle, it would be just like yesterday's lesson, right? You just find where it is and use those coordinates and manipulate them to get the answers you want. However, if I give you a weird radian, like let's say 5 pi over 9, right? How would you find the coordinates for that? How would you find the coordinates for that? And how would you find? We're not going to do all 6. Let's just do cotangent. Okay, because the idea is pretty much the same. The only difference is what you have to do in your calculator. So now. Cell phones usually have it. So if you guys are looking at your cell phones, if you're doing that, you can change your calculator to deal with radians instead of degrees. Now what I'm telling you is kind of dangerous information because you have to, now if I'm going to give you this back, you have to remember when working with degrees, make sure your calculator says degrees because if you change it to radians, all your answers are going to be wrong. So make sure you're paying attention to this. But if you look at your calculator, usually do you guys see somewhere where it says rad or deg, D-E-G? That's radians and degrees. So, well, we were in degrees before, but we want to change it to radians. Now, if you are on these little calculators, the blue ones, what you're going to do is you're going to push DRG, and you'll see a selection come up that says D-E-G-R-A-D, and you're going to scroll over to rad. And push enter. And now in the bottom corner it should say rad. So on your cell phones, there's literally a button that just says either DEG or RAD. And whatever it says at the top, like I'm going to look at Geo's real quick. So his DEG button is down here in the left-hand corner. And so up here, though, in the screen, it says rad. So right now, he's in radians. But if he pushes DEG, then it doesn't say anything. So I guess the calculator thinks that's the normal thing, so it doesn't need to say it. But so if you push rad, it should say it in the top screen there, so you know what you're doing. So let's try this. Have we all set our calculators and cell phones to rads now? So all we have to do is type this in. Now, on cell phones, let me walk you guys through it first with cell phones, okay? Let's do cosine first. What you're going to do is on a cell phone, you have to do 5 times pi. So do 5 times pi. And there's a pi button on your phone there too somewhere, right? So we'll do 5 times pi, and then divide it by 9. So 5 times pi divided by 9. What are we getting there? Okay. Let me catch up with you. Yep, 1.745. Now what you're going to do is you're going to push cosine. This is for cell phones, though, mind you. Okay? This is for cell phones. Don't push that one. No, that's a different one. Just COS, cosine. Maybe it should say COS somewhere. Got it? Okay. So we should be looking at something that, yeah, so Xana brought up that on her calculator it says COSH. That's a whole other function. Don't use those. So this is negative 0.174 for the x value. And you just repeat it to find the y value. So now for those of you guys, so if you're using your cell phones, go ahead and find the y value. But I'll talk to you guys who want to use this thing. So for this thing, you literally just type it in just the way it looks, right? You're going to push, first of all, after you got it set to radians, right? You're going to push cosine 5 pi over 9. Huh? Pi button on the blue calculator right about here. Okay. So, and then so once again, if whether you're using cell phone or calculator, see if you guys can find the next one, which is sine, right? We want to find the y value. And see if you can get my answer here. I'm getting 0.985. So it's really the same thing because your calculator is doing all the work. Now another way we could have done this problem is we could have don't write anything down here, but just watch. You could have multiplied this by 180 over pi, right? And just changed it to degrees. And you could have done the whole problem in degrees anyway, right? So that's another option you guys could have done. But let's go ahead and go over here to cotangent. Now we said cotangent, cotangent was the reciprocal of tangent, right? So for those of you guys who are using, or instead of doing that, you could also do cosine over sine, right? So if you're using your cell phones, this is the better option, probably. Nah, they're both about the same, honestly. But we already found these. So on your cell phones, what you would do is you would just do this number divided by this number, and you'll get your answer. Okay? If you're on the little blue calculators, I would type this in. I would do 1 divided by tangent of 5 pi over 9. And you guys should be getting negative 0.176. So, but once again, the alternative approach to this, instead of changing your calculators to radians, would be just to transform the radians into degrees. That works also. So I'm not going to have us practice that or anything. I just wanted to show it to you guys because I want to get to our quiz here. But before you guys stop, I would encourage you to change your calculators back to degrees because that's mainly what you use in here, and you don't want your stuff set on the wrong setting. So once again, on this calculator, you're going to push the DRG button and go back over to degrees. And on your cell phones, make sure you just push the DEG button at the bottom, and you'll be good to go. All right, so what time is it? It's 8:13. I can give you guys, do you guys want about 5 minutes to kind of look over your tangent values and kind of drill them into your mind before we start our quiz? Our tangent value quiz is today. The tangent one. No calculator, just a memory quiz. So go ahead and I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to memorize your tangent values, and then we'll take our little unit circle quiz on that.